We had been in Florida for about a week, and it's pretty crazy what we experienced in such a short amount of time. With a rented minivan and an air mattress as our vessel, we had covered about 450 miles and had some of the most unforgettable underwater encounters of our lives. We had our hearts melted by baby manatees, got completely surrounded by Florida's toothiest creatures, had our minds blown by aliens disguised as marine animals, and got to meet one of our all-time heroes, oceanographer and conservationist Sylvia Earle. As travelers and as humans, I think most of us tend to underestimate places and experiences that seem less exotic and more familiar. But so far, this trip had shattered that outlook completely. After spending the night camping in our van just outside the Everglades National Park, we woke up to embark on the next leg of our journey.
You ready to tackle the day? No? No?
How far is it to Key Largo?
2 miles.
Oh, that's it?
Just across that bridge.
I thought we were like getting ready for a full-on drive, yeah. Cool, we're almost there. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't you take me scuba diving with Jesus underwater? Going to see the underwater Jesus.
Yeah. It's like an iconic little cool statue underwater. I think he's like 25 feet or something, but...
Well, not quite. He's 8 feet tall.
What?
Yeah, I read a thing about it this morning. It's 8 foot tall bronze Jesus. Those are awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we met these guys at Dima and they were really cool, really chill. Sold us on the diving here, so we decided to come check it out. Kind of not something we had planned on originally when we were planning this trip. We hopped on board and began making the 6-mile journey offshore towards the United States' only living coral barrier reef. We set off with nothing but flat, crystal clear seas on the horizon. Our pilgrimage continues to find Jesus.
Yeah.
And we're almost there. We're pulling up to the dive site right here that looks like the mooring ball. And actually there's no other boats here, which is cool because I kind of thought there would be like 1 million people here. So that's exciting. Oh, oops, there they are. There's the boats.
Yeah, she's dreaming. Who's just dreaming? Look at all these moorings around. You think, yeah, all these moorings are for Jesus.
Yeah.
So he's a popular guy.
Yeah,
He really
everybody
is.
loves.
Good old JC, man.
Yeah, WWJD, what would Jesus dive? Is that offensive? Jesus, take the wheel, here we come.
Hello to Christ Jesus. This bronze statue that sits in only about 25 feet of water weighs 4,000 pounds and he is just shy of 9 feet tall. This statue is the third statue of its kind. The first one being in the Mediterranean, the second one in Grenada. This Jesus has been here in this spot since 1965. And since then, he has become an iconic part of Florida diving. lot of exhibitors from the Caribbean. Lots of colors bursting everywhere. I love the soft coral. Just waves away from the ocean. Amazing. I am loving the skies. The reef feels like it never ends. It is absolutely stunning.
Good dive, and now I'm starving. We're gonna go get some yummy food. We met up with the boat crew at the bar right next door to the dive shop. No matter who you are or where you're from, a cold beer and a recap of all the awesome stuff you saw that day are a sacred part of the post-dive ritual. Guten Morgen! We just woke up. We ended up sleeping in the parking lot of the dive shop / the bar that we were last night because we drove 40 minutes to this campsite, and when we got there we saw online that they closed it for a year to do like a beach restoration project, so that's kind of a bummer. Yep, so here we are. I mean, if you guys saw like our if you guys seen like our Hawaii episodes where we sleep in a car, it was a little bit different than what it has been here, and I think we kind of thought, oh, Florida, we're gonna like park on the beach and we're gonna wake up in all these cool spots, and it just didn't really happen. But in the meantime, it's still been like the cheapest and easiest way for us to get around and have a rental car and have accommodations. Anyways, gonna hop in the car, and I don't really know what we're gonna do today. Let's find out. Let's decide what we're gonna do today. It needs his coffee.
Good morning, everyone.
So we're slowly heading down the Keys today, and we thought we'd stop at this little Cuban cafe on our way down. And I got myself an empanada and a little Cuban coffee, which is super strong. If you've never had it, they're really good. We're super close to Cuba now. Yeah, you're starting to see a lot more Cuban influence. Sadly, you're also starting to see a lot more signs of Hurricane Irma down here. A lot of signs are shredded. It looks like they've done a good job cleaning it up. It's all kind of like piled up on the side of the roads at this point. Just kind of waiting for the final like cleanup, but you can certainly see that yeah, there's been some damage from it. So anyway, thought we'd enjoy the local culture, local cuisine, if you will, and yeah, we're gonna slowly keep cruising down the Keys till we hit Key West today.
Pit stop, we gotta check this out. I present to you, let's see, the world's largest lobster. It's like so detailed, and actually like blown away at how well this is made. This is truly a lobster work of art. It's about to get nerdy up in here. Okay, so yeah, we're driving down the road and we see this massive, like one of the old metal scuba helmets, this huge one on a sign, and as we get closer we realize it's the History of Diving Museum. So obviously we had to stop, and I'm feeling a little giddy right now, and I'm gonna show you all the cool things.
Why, hello there, and welcome to the Museum of the History of Diving in Isla Mirada, Florida.
Join us on a trip through time as we explore the history of the deep.
Welcome to the History of Diving Museum. For over 4 decades, museum founders, Drs. Joe and Sally Bauer, researched diving history, published and collected antique diving equipment. This museum is based on their collection, one of the largest in the world. Upon entering the museum, you will venture through a timeline of diving. Over 4,000 years of history.
Going down. Here's the modern way of doing it. And believe us, it's a very graceful way. And you can put a tin hat on it if you like and go exploring the vasty deeps. But even that's only playing at going down. We want to consider for a moment the men who do it for a living. In fact, for divers' reasons.
We begin our tale in 1551 with Tartaglia's bell.
So this was, I'm just reading this off the placard, by the way. I don't know all this. They would dive down and it would trap an air pocket inside of it. And then we got this little copper kettle diving machine that looks like the guy from The Wizard of Oz, the little tinker guy. See, he's from 1797, so quite a bit further along. This is the Triton. Yeah, so they've got like a backpack with bellows that are activated. So he rocks his head back and forth like this, and that makes the bellows pump air into his mouth and the lamp. So that actually made light underwater.
It's because it wasn't a light bulb, it would have been like...
Yeah, it was a candle, but it needed air to keep
crazy.
The flame going, so it would let a little bit of air in, so you could actually have a candle underwater.
Wow.
I love that they made it a crown, too. Like, it could have just been a regular strap that went on your head, but they were like, this guy's got to be a crown. Pump those bellows. I just feel like I'm in, like, Willy Wonka's dive factory right now of all this crazy invention.
As we made our way through the museum, we completely lost our minds. We were bouncing around from exhibit to exhibit, with our faces and palms pressed up against the glass, like a little kid staring at puppies in a pet shop window. I'd never really thought about it before, but it blows my mind to think about the spirit of adventure and exploration that the early pioneers of diving had. Like, imagine being the first person ever to just say, I'm going to figure out a way to breathe underwater. It must have seemed totally insane at the time. The technology and gear that we use today has allowed us to visit places underwater that no past human beings could have ever seen with their own eyes. But it's still pretty wild how much of the underwater planet is still completely unreachable and unexplored. As time rolls on, it will be so exciting to see how these technologies continue to evolve and what we can learn from the previously untouched depths.
Found our OTS mask right here. I think this is one of the original because it's like an old red one that they don't even have anymore. Can't tell if they try to make it look dusty or if it's just been here that long, but OTS, here you are.
And it's our buddy phone. This is our mask. This is literally the system that we use to dive and record audio underwater.
OTS Guardian Full Face Mask and Buddy Phone D2 allows communication at a range of 50 to 500 meters at a maximum operating depth of 130 feet. We've used ours deep.
I know, I was just going to say, I wonder if that's why. Remember when we were in Spain and it was like beeping at us in that wreck?
Right, so here we are, 150 feet underwater. It is 5 degrees clear.
150 feet, our masks were like pretty much like telling us you're gonna die, so.
Huh, crazy.
Yeah. There's all the other ways that they've had to talk to the surface over the years.
Oh. Even in 1955, they were still doing Sports Illustrated swimsuit editions. Alright, so of all the things that we've seen today at this museum, this is honestly probably one of the ones I'm most impressed by. This is called the gym suit, and it's an atmospheric dive suit. And so what that means is that when you're in it, your body is the same as if you're on land. So you don't experience a lot of the same limitations that we do while we're diving as far as how deep we can go and how long we can be down. So this suit right here, Sylvia Earle, who we met only a few days ago, she wore this suit in 1975 and set a world record for the deepest untethered dive ever. And she went to 1,250 feet off the coast of Hawaii in this suit.
To give you guys a context of how deep that is, the deepest dive that we've ever done is about 150 feet. And 150 feet is really the deepest that you're gonna go just diving, you know, regular air or maybe nitrox. So this is like 10 times as deep as what we've gone. She went in this suit in the 70s. Like, that's so cool.
7-mile bridge out to Key West. You may know this bridge from such movies as Total Recall. That's where I know it from. With Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis.
The history of this bridge is actually pretty crazy. The original 7-mile bridge was built in 1912 by railroad tycoon Henry Flagler. In the late 1800s, southern Florida was still largely undeveloped and isolated, so he began constructing the Florida East Coast Railway to connect it to other industrial areas. By the early 1900s, things were going pretty great for Flagler, so he decided to undertake what at the time was thought to be an impossible feat of building a 128-mile stretch of railway from mainland Florida all the way down to Key West, the southernmost point of the United States. The Panama Canal was to be built around the same time, and Flagler anticipated that Key West would become a massive hub for trade by ships. It took about 7 years to complete, crossing 42 stretches of sea, over 17 miles of concrete viaducts and concrete steel bridges, over 20 miles of filled causeways, and ultimately traversing 128 miles from island to island. Then, in 1935, Flagler's life's work got hit by the strongest ever recorded hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. at that point in history. 17-foot storm surges and 200-mile-per-hour winds took out huge sections of the railway. Due to some really bad planning, a train that was evacuating workers out of Key West left too late, and it was derailed by the hurricane. Half of the population living between Key West and Miami were killed in the storm. It bankrupted the railway, which was sold to the state for a fraction of what it had cost to build, and the 7-mile bridge was turned into a motorway for cars. Eventually, in 1982, Florida built a brand new bridge right next to the original one, which is what you see here. You can still walk on parts of the old bridge today. As we pushed on south, we continued to witness the sad destruction that the Florida Keys suffered during Irma.
Holy shit. I've never seen it. It's just like miles and miles and miles of just twisted metal, and these are people's homes that everybody had to be evacuated out of here. And to come back to that, and just looking at the monumentous job of cleaning this up, it's got to be daunting. These scuba operations, for instance, they, had to be shut down for weeks. Everybody evacuated. You couldn't even get down here. And then even after they reopened it back up, they had a curfew. It started, you couldn't be out after 6, and then 8, that's going to hit restaurants, bars, everything else in between. And on top of that, having to fix your business, because there's not a single business that didn't have some sort of damage. And then even after that, after it's all said and done, it takes months and months to get the tourism back, to get people to know that, hey, it's not the prettiest, there's some trash, but we're here, we're alive, and come dive with us. And that's what we're doing. So if you're watching, come support and come dive, because they need it. Well, we decided to splurge for the night, and we got ourselves a beautiful little area right by a river at an actual campsite. So Yeah, we need good sleep. Tomorrow's the Vandenberg, the Key's largest wreck. Pretty big deal. Super deep, lots of currents, nitrox, everything else in between. Low vis, so I've been hearing about it for years from some coworkers that used to work out here. I think they still do. So anyway, that's me signing out. We're gonna get set up to camp.
Good morning! We had an incredible night's sleep in the campgrounds last night. We had a bathroom, we had a shower, we had like our first real shower honestly in a while. I'm not gonna tell you how long because it's kind of embarrassing. I know we promised you yesterday that we were gonna dive the Vandenberg today, but we found out that there's 5 feet or less of visibility, so if you can imagine what that means, that here's me standing right here. And you see that little barbecue right there? This little barbecue? You would not be able to see that underwater. You still wouldn't be able to see it. You still wouldn't be able to see it. Now you probably would be able to see it. You know, we're definitely on a budget and it's just kind of went back and forth, but we decided not to do it. But instead, we do have to do a lot of work. We're super far behind on a lot of our editing jobs that we have for clients that we work with. We have a lot of marketing stuff that we're behind on, and yeah, so we're gonna probably like do a half work day, and I'm just gonna enjoy the sun and the beautiful weather, and we'll see where this day takes us.
What'd you get?
Beans and rice.
Beans and rice. This coffee is so strong. I'm getting all jazzed up, ready for the day. Cuba's high on our list. We want to get there pretty soon. If you have suggestions or comments or ways that you know that we might be able to get down there. Huh? Sailboat. Just sail down there. Anybody down in Cuba, anybody know how to get to Cuba, anybody going to Cuba, you hit us up because we want to go.
Yeah, diving's good there, we heard.
The coffee's even better than the diving, I've heard.
Yeah.
No, but the diving is.
And the sandwiches.
Yeah. Anyhow, good morning.
Yeah.
How's it coming?
Oh, just dandy. Working on a little episode to get out to you guys.
Just here at the campground, and dude, check out this bathroom. Like, so, and this is not the bathroom. It's like the lounge area.
They call it the bathhouse.
The bathhouse. At first, it looks like, oh, this beautiful beach scene, right? But the more I've sat in here working today, the more I've realized there's some creepy ass shit in here, like this. Yeah, it's like a Joker, right? Or maybe this pirate. Look at that thing. This coral is like a skull clown.
The finger on the bench.
Oh yeah, the finger on the bench. We've been having a lot of guests, like these guys. Here he comes. Is he coming to greet us again? Oh my god, it's a titty. I just realized that this Joker person right here is like a woman with a big old titty. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, that's not a titty. I know a titty when I see a titty. Face. You got face. And then even right here, like this shape right here, right? Let's see if I can get it. Even here. The hair, the eye, the nose. Fucking face. I see faces. I see dead people. That might be a wrap on work day. We gotta get out of here. So. And look. And they're closing in on us as I've been talking. This guy has been sneaking up on us. You think I don't see you? You think I don't see you? I see you creeping. Yeah, you walk away. You walk away. Yeah.
It was our last afternoon in Florida, and we spent the day cruising around Key West and trying to find a nude beach that turned out to be the trashy outskirts of a naval base.
I should have known when I saw these dirty old jockeys that it couldn't be good. Yeah. Key West finest right here.
Oh, I failed.
Okay. Yeah, we thought this was gonna be like a cool
Oh, it is very stinky. We were thinking this is gonna be like a super scenic, cool, nudie beach where we could like tan our bits, but it's not.
So we gave up on the beach and headed back into town to check out the sunset.
We just watched our last sunset here in Florida, and it was a beauty.
It was a doozy.
Yeah.
Big round ball.
Yeah. We're right here at South Point, the most southern point of the continental United States. Go ahead, guys. We're just doing our vlogging. It's being annoying. There, I got him. I got him.
Are you guys honeymoon or?
No.
I saw the robe. It looks like the robe that they wear after they get ready for the wedding, you know?
You know what? Back to, you know what was actually the highlight for Sylvia Earle, man. Like, that's why we came down here, was to meet her. And
I kind of forgot about Dima because it feels, this week feels like it's so
whirlwind,
long.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that kind of seems like so long ago.
we'll mention it before, we'll mention it again. Like, honestly, guys, look her up. Watch Mission Blue, watch some of her documentaries, watch the documentary about her life. She is a incredibly interesting story and a key figure player in what we do. So if you're into scuba diving, or if you're into living because you like the ocean.
We need the ocean to survive as a planet, yeah. I feel that Florida was honestly I was a lot more impressed by the diving than what I expected. Like, moving forward from that, I think that's maybe a lesson that I can take away from this trip, which is not to kind of prejudge a place based on how cool I think it's going to be, or how exotic, or how off the beaten track it is. I would say that, you know, unlike some of the other maybe experiences that we've had, like sailing in the Caribbean, where we dove some places that probably not many people dive, we definitely were on the beaten track on this trip. Just because something's not really like hard to get to or hard to find or unknown, it doesn't mean it's popular for a reason. And so I think that helps me to kind of not prejudge the places that we go in the future.
No, it was beautiful.
So,
it was beautiful,
yeah.
And very diverse. We saw seahorses, we saw anything and everything. The macro is incredible, and we didn't even see it. Obviously we didn't see it in its, like, you know, best foot forward, because I mean,
yeah,
hurricane just hit it. So
yeah, we did see a little bit of damage underwater in Key Largo. There's a few, you know, sea fans that have been broken off or blown off, but overall it looked good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Friendly people overall. Great trip overall. No. Anyway, that's our trip. Thanks for coming along the journey, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Again, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.
Wherever in the world that may be. We don't even know.
Now I'm gonna film this bird.
Okay. Fly, bird.
Look at me.
Fly into the wind.
Join us next time as we head back to one of our favorite places in the world, Hawaii.